Reactions from across the world to the escalating clashes between the Palestinians and Israelis have reflected just how divided the world is on the matter. In the Middle East, Egypt, Morocco and the United Arab Emirates have called for restraint, reminding the warring sides about the need to avoid further civilian casualties. Hundreds of civilians have died as the fighting intensifies. Countries like Algeria, Tunisia and Libya have sided with the Palestinians in Gaza, pledging their full and unconditional support. This can be compared to the stance that several Western countries have taken to fully back Israel, even as calls for an immediate end to the hostilities increase.
Arab countries were clear when it came to their vision for resolving this crisis. They've also engaged with the core reasons that fuel these recurrent episodes of violence. On the contrary, some countries took sides, like Germany, which sided with Israel rather than focusing on a solution to the crisis. China, on the contrary, is pushing for diplomatic solutions. That was clear last January when it called for a UN Security Council meeting to discuss the tension at Al-Aqsa Mosque.
The Arab League has reiterated the need for the international community to acknowledge the Palestinians' right to having an independent state. It is quite telling that the organization's Secretary General Ahmed Abul-Gheit opted to fly to Moscow on Sunday to discuss the escalation of fighting in the occupied Palestinian territories rather than Western capitals.
The diplomacy of double standards is a characteristic of the Western countries and the United States of America. Before the current escalation, when Israel attacked the Palestinian camp in Jenin, we've seen the ICC move against the Russian President Putin, issuing an arrest warrant because of the Ukrainian crisis. They did not even open an investigation into the Israeli violations against Palestinians in the occupied territories.
Meanwhile, the heads of state of the regional peace mediators, Egypt and Jordan, held talks to coordinate efforts to broker a ceasefire aiming for a long-term truce. Tension is growing at the Egyptian border with Gaza as the number of injured people seeking treatment in Egypt continues to rise. Violence spilled over into the Egyptian city of Alexandria after a policeman killed 2 Israeli tourists and an Egyptian citizen.
The Arab world is playing a key role in diplomatic efforts to end the violence between Israel and Hamas before further unrest spreads. Regional powers believe that the recent Palestinian attacks indicate pent-up frustration and desperation among the Palestinian lines. For years, many Arab countries have been calling for the implementation of UN resolutions that gives back Lebanon, Syria and Palestine their territories before Israel's 1967 invasion. Adel EL Mahrouky, CGTN, Cairo.